Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor as we preview the best of the action from Ascot on Saturday. Of course, all races live on Sky Sports Racing. As well as that, we have more Cheltenham ante-post selections for you and our best bets of the weekend, including some selections up at Haydock. Joining me, happy Valentine's Day, lads. Not that any of us are really feeling... Yeah. Dec, you got your card sent out, have you?
Yeah, I got 2 or 3 in the post this morning, you know, the usual. Nah, grandmother sadly passed away now, so I don't get them anymore.
Why did I go to him first? Why did I go to him first? Sam, you're a much safer bet, at
Yeah,
least.
This man's married, so, you know, he's a safer bet.
Romance is not dead.
Petrol station flowers, the order of the day. But let's hope we can find some winners to pay for the various Valentine gifts that our viewers are going to have to be handing over to their significant
I've already backed my first loser today. I was like, Kate's definitely coming in red today, because, you know, you're good with the L themes.
No, I did.
The first 101 missed for me already.
I know, exactly. Oh, never let them know your next move. I know, I did debate it as well, a little bit of red, but I thought, nah, we'll just go for black. Which is probably the theme. Sentiment is lost on the three of us, definitely. Yes. So all the same. Anyway, puns aplenty, no doubt, from the pair of you two throughout this show as well. Stay tuned for that, and happy Valentine's Day to all of you as well. Now, before we move on to the action, a reminder as ever to please do gamble responsibly. Our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to point you in the right direction. Right, on with our first race, the 150 at Ascot. This is the Grade 2 Reynoldstown novices chase for the 5-year-olds and over 3 miles. Now, Ginkgo Blue and Lowry's Bar clash again, but of course the favourite Ginkgo Blue at 6-5 has to shoulder a £5 penalty, Sam.
Yeah, and I don't think this is the easiest race to weigh up. I have got a bet in it, but I won't be going too hard at the prices. Flicking through, let's take the 2 in isolation at the top of the market out of the way for a second. Of the other 3, Pic D'Orhy, I was interested in, but I think someone else on the panel is going to make a better case for that particular horse, so I'll park that thought. The Changing Man for me just keeps getting close, but hitting the crossbar. Interesting, obviously, to see how it gets on here, but reverting back to the 2 at the front of the betting, I know Ginkgo Blue has to carry that penalty, but by comparison to Lowry's Bar, I think he's really unexposed over fences. I think there should be more to come. I think the track will suit him better. I'm personally not a fan of Windsor as a jumps track at the moment.
I can't say that. It's on Sky Sports Racing.
I certainly can and will, Dec. I just think it is. We'll see here. He obviously comes out on top, but both of them make fiddly errors, if you like.
So you're not a fan of the track because your horse makes mistakes at the track, what?
Oh, gosh, here we go. It's just a speed-suited
nice bit of correlation there.
And I think, obviously, this horse is looking towards a staying contest at the festival. He comes out on top here, and I think it's in spite of the track. You could say the same for the second as well. I know the penalties there, he's got to carry it, but I'm expecting more to come from Nicky Henderson's horse. And if he's got the Brown Advisory as the target, which I think is what they've said, he's got to be really winning here. 6-5 is as short as I'd want to be playing, but I felt like he is value to be able to improve once again, and that's the difference between the front pair here. I think he's got more to offer given how unexposed he is as a staying chaser in comparison to the second, who's been a really good horse but been doing plenty of running.
I wonder about Ginkgo Blue, whether or not he really wants 3 miles. I know that he was a comfortable winner there, as we've just been seeing, but the fact that Lowry's Bar fudged the third last completely then, would he have got closer, given the fact that he was coming back at him at the line? I know Ginkgo Blue was doing it all within himself, but I just feel that Lowry's Bar is the better 3-miler at this stage then over this trip. And of course, the pair of those two were running off of level weights in that most recent start. So now he's getting the £5 pull with Ginkgo Blue. If we're talking weights and measures and lengths and you're really sort of formulaic about that, then Lowry's Bar should at least be bridging that gap and then some, if not going past Ginkgo Blue, who did make his own, obviously, errors throughout Windsor.
And you clearly don't think there's more to come from Ginkgo Blue, given that
I do.
Oh, OK.
I do,
so,
but I just think that there's too much disparity between them in terms of the prices here, given the weight swing, given the fact that Lowry's Bar, he did make a slight hash of the third last. And again,
a slight hash? He nearly took it home with him.
Trying to be good old Windsor fences.
I love when you're making a case for a horse, you will literally say anything to kind of try and make the horse win.
Yeah, exactly. Trust me, we will crowbar anything we possibly can. But he is such a likeable horse, his attitude. Look how straightforward he is. He's got a single ring snaffle bit on there, a Cavison noseband. There's Molly White, that's Johnson White's daughter, actually, who's now an integral part of the Hobson White Detective Agency setup as well. But I still think there's so much more to come from him. I know the Oldham was talked about, can't get into the National this year, but I think that this is going to be his for the taking to rewrite that wrong then from last time out. So us two are butting heads. Which side are you on?
You are. Well, it's going to be a three-way headbutt by the looks of it. But yeah, I think it's a tricky race, isn't it? Like Jinko Blue has obviously got to carry the penalty. Also, I'm not sold on his jumping. He did get in very tight to quite a few fences at Windsor now. I think they did go there on the day as a bit of a last-minute decision, so he might even be sharper and improve for the couple of mistakes he went. He also jumped a little bit left, which won't be ideal. Lowry's Bar, this is going to be the quickest ground he's ever run on as well, isn't it? And I'm not sure that race at Windsor last time out, it was a real test of late speed. I don't think they proved they stay a genuine 3 miles yet, and the changing man might go forward here. But I thought Peaky Boy is interesting at the prices. Now, I haven't backed him yet, and I'll probably be waiting much closer to the race to have a bet. I'd be happy to back him at 5-1 if the vibes were right. He's just a hard horse to fancy because he's moved yards, hasn't he?
Yes.
He's moved from Nicky Henderson's. He's now gone to John Joe and AJ O'Neill. You know, he hasn't run in a little while, so we don't really know where he is. This is going to be his third run. Could they be looking at the National Hunt Chase to get a handicap mark? Although I think that's the wrong race for him because I don't think he fully stayed 3 mile 1 the last day. So it'll just be interesting to see where he is. But if he is in good order, put it to you this way, if he was coming here straight from Nicky Henderson's, hadn't been to the sales, he is absolutely the bet for me. I think he's the most solid jumper in the field and his form is very good. And as well, he'll be very much at home on good ground. I like him. I think he's a good bet at 13-2 if connections are going to be having a go and if this is the plan and if he's in good form. Lots of ifs and buts there, but I just thought at the prices he was one for viewers to maybe have a look at closer to the race, especially if there was a bit of confidence about him.
Yeah, if you were happy with 5-1, the 13-2 is definitely...
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just that kind of race. I think there's enough holes to pick in the top two in the market. And I do like him. He's a very good jumper. He's had 2 cracking runs at Cheltenham this season, so it'll be interesting to see. But obviously, ifs and buts.
Very much so.
Yeah.
3 different selections.
I've basically gone, this is why you don't back him, but I kind of fancy him, so yeah, not really good.
You're giving mixed signals, aren't you? Yeah,
absolutely,
really.
absolutely.
Yeah, but 3 different selections then from us in the Reynoldstown Novices Chase, so great start, lads. Do let us know in the comment section below who you fancy then for that opening contest for us as we move on to the 3 o'clock now. The Swinley Handicap Chase, Premier Handicap, 5 rods and over 3 miles. Now, Victor Reno heads the market at 7-2 in this one, Deck.
Yeah, he does. You know, he just looks like a horse now who's really crying out for more than 3 miles, doesn't he? Isn't there that new kind of Berkshire National that, what was the Twiston Davis horse at Beaumont? He bolted up on it this year. I think he could be it's a new race at Ascot this season, and he bolted up in that at the start of the season. That's the kind of race I could see him running in later in the season. He is going up in the weights, and we should say as well, I was looking at the going stick readings. I think this ground is going to be, you know, plenty of good in it. Yeah. It's going to be good to soft, definitely edging more towards good, and that's just going to put more emphasis on speed. That's going to make things a little bit trickier for Hastings because I'm not sold on his jumping. Terriesta I really like, but she's not the biggest. She's gone up in the handicap and she's got to carry more physical weight. Ansam is definitely interesting, but I thought with the ground coming up good, Snipe was interesting for the Skelton Yard. A really good solid jumper, which is really surprising given he's not the biggest. He's only a handy little horse. And I think last time out when he ran 3rd at Donny in the Great Yorkshire, he had to carry 10 stone 13. On Saturday, he's going to carry 10 stone 3, and Harry Skelton's lowest weight, I think, is about 10 stone 2. So Harry's getting down to ride him. Also, it looked like an ideal race for Phlegmatic, but he's going to run earlier in the card in the Grade 1 to try and pick some prize money up. They could have had 2 in the air, but they're going with this lad, and I thought he ran a cracker this day. He made a very bad mistake at the last day, which obviously, you know, gave him no chance, but I don't think he was going to win anyway. But I went onto the At The Races website, looked at the sectionals for this race. He's a proper hold-up horse. He was unlucky with how the race panned out because going across the far side on the final circuit, all the pace just slowed down. The horse on the front end got a big breather into them and he was just too far back. I'm hoping climbing up Swinley bottom will give him a bit more time to latch onto the field and he can go close, given he liked the ground for a top team. So yeah, what were you laughing at there? My little gesture of going up Swinley bottom.
I mean, it helps to act out.
Yeah, he just kind of looked at me and go, what's this weirdo doing?
Always helps if we charade out on racetracks. Yeah. Sam, you're giving him a funny look, but what do you like?
I think this is a really competitive heat, isn't it? And you can make cases for everything and anything. And Victorino's a really intriguing runner off what we mark of 146 now, and you've got to respect that. But at 7-2, I kind of wanted to try and find some each way angles into the race. Thought Ansam was interesting. I think. Is it 10-year-olds have a good record in this?
They do.
There you go, Tracey trends.
Okay, Tracey's trends is coming. I can feel it.
And I just felt, obviously, with the ground drying out, going from the front, could potentially be a bit of a pace angle. But there was two others that I liked in here. Wise Guy, I thought was a really interesting runner for Nicky Henderson. But I was reading back through some of the comments. He's clearly a horse that has his physical issues. We haven't seen him since Newbury. Maybe being kept towards better ground, I don't know. But the one that I've come down on is last year's winner of the race, 3 under through 5, who will be heading towards the Grand National by the sounds of things. And obviously we're after the cut-off now. The weights were out this week. I think he's a really nice horse, and I think obviously he reappeared and finished third behind the favourite, and a favourite's been nudged up a bit for it. It's hard, isn't it, lumping 12 stone round here, but he's obviously likes the track. His 2 runs here over fences have seen a win and a third. I think he should kick on from that. That was his first run of the season as well last time
and
out.
He was a massive drifter in the betting, and he ran really well.
And don't forget, there's been a lot of talk, hasn't there, about Paul Nicholls this week. Maybe he's not having the season. He'll be back. He's not going to just not suddenly start having winners left, right and centre. On this day last year, I think he had about 8 winners. Now, I think he'd bite your arm off to have 4 at the moment, given the way things have gone. But these are good horses. They will come back around. And I just think this has probably been a bit of a plan as well, given that we know how he likes to mark these things out. It's perfectly well timed in terms of heading towards the National as well. Won't impact his mark as well. So I just thought at the prices, what are we there? 11-1. Yeah, that's an each way play for me here in a good heat.
He is interesting. He was on the old shortlist as well.
Oh, good, because he was on my very, very short list of 2. And here as well as the number 1 horse, for 3 under through 5 to go and regain his crown. Of course, and Sam then as well. But all 3 of us have mentioned him. I'll go into him in just a second. But 3 under through 5 though. And I respect Victorino, who we're looking at as well in this clip. Of course, he is heading the betting after. I expected him to win though in the race last year, and he didn't offer the same mark of 146. And he was well enough beaten as well. So I just don't know if I can side with him again then in this one. For all that, of course, he reversed the form then here. Now we're looking back at this on the 21st of December at Ascot. Victorino winning this 3 under through 5, back in third. But this is just going to be his race to get back to winning ways. And I think that this is probably the form line to be focusing in on as well. And 3 under through 5, we know that he's carrying top weight here, running off a mark of 153. So just £1 higher than his winning mark of last year. As you said, Sam, he is a perfect age of a 10-year-old. 5 of the last 8 winners have been age 10. And he hasn't run badly on either of his starts so far since his win in this race last year either. 13th in the Bet365 Gold Cup. 3rd, as we've just seen, at 22-1 against Victorino, under top weight again then last time out. So back down £2 and back here as a fresher horse than most too. But as we've all said, also going to be keeping a very close eye on Ansam and that price of 8-1 as well. I would still be wanting to have a fair bit of that, because we know that this could well be his time shine. We tend to associate him with 3 miles around Kempton, really, don't we? But we know that, well, you'd expect him to have been aimed at the old Racing Post Trophy at Kempton, but he didn't run well in it at all last year, and perhaps then he has different aims now. But again, ideal age of a 10-year-old, perfectly rated 140, and looks set to run a big race. So do watch him in the betting. Very informed.
He got an interesting ride last time out, I think. I don't think Adam Wedge was too hard on him, let's say, especially going to the last. He got him in a bit of a cross-faced chicken wing and put the brakes on. And
that was a diplomatic way of trying to describe that.
It started out as
I am very diplomatic, actually. People don't think I am. But it was. It looked like a ride that they had bigger plans, and obviously this is a higher value pot, isn't it? Than
and I don't know. I mean, the yard are just flying, aren't they? So now
they're running really well. Same with Venetia's as well, aren't they? They're running well.
So Ansam, very interesting all the same. So you have to have a saver on him, I feel. Well, watch him in the betting anyway. 8-1 there. So that is the main tip then about Ansam. But loads of different ways to play that super competitive handicap, as you would tend to expect. And do let us know who you fancy for that contest. Right, on to the 3:37 now at Ascot, the Grade 1 Ascot Chase. 5-year-olds and over 2 mile 5. Of course, feature race of the weekend, live on Sky Sports Racing. Pic D'Orhy chases back-to-back wins in the race. He is the 7-4 favourite here, Deck.
He is, and I think he deserves to be favoured. Yeah, a bit of a tricky race. Obviously, he won the race last year, didn't he? Beating L'Homme Presse, where the market completely flip-flopped. L'Homme Presse was incredibly weak in the market and was probably given a ride like they were eyeing up the Gold Cup. But surely now they know they cannot beat Galopin in a Gold Cup. All things being equal, they'll go and have a proper go tomorrow. But at the same time, he doesn't. I just wonder, is he maybe looks like he's crying out for headgear, he's saving a bit for himself as he gets older, L'Homme Presse, because he doesn't really travel. And I just think the horse in here who's got that little bit of early toe, that little bit of early class is Pic D'Orhy if he's going to be in good order. Now, Le Patron might take him on for the lead, but he'd be interesting even if he got a lead, he could even be better. But I just think with the way the ground is going to come up at Ascot tomorrow, it's just going to put more emphasis on speed. And Pic D'Orhy in here, I think, is the most natural 2.5 miler. L'Homme Presse won over 3 mile, won the last day in a kind of tactical race. Looked like he needed every bit of the art. Poor old Corbetts Cross is going to...
He's going to be shocked.
Yeah, he's going to look like he's going to feel like he's running on hot rocks, I think, tomorrow. He's like dropping in trip on good ground. It's going to potentially be for him a sighter for the Gold Cup. So Pic D'Orhy, I think, looks to have an outstanding chance, but he just, again, Paul Nicholls' team, a little bit in and out. If he's in good order, he parades well, looks well. I think 7-4 is a very, very fair bet given what the ground's going to come up like.
Yeah, I didn't know how, when we pulled up the betting show there, what it was going to look like, the current state of play. Because I'll be honest, I can't wait for this race. I haven't got a clue. I haven't got a clue who's going to win it.
Sorry, honesty, UK?
Yeah, complete honesty is best policy in this game. But the first 3 in the betting, any one of these could win this. It's a great race. It's a mad race.
Yeah.
But honestly, I didn't realise that we were going to come down on the same horse. If I have to have a selection in here, like I will openly say I will not be having a bet in this race. I am more than happy to enjoy it, but for the sake of this show, I'm going to side with Pic D'Orhy as well here, because I would kick myself, though, if he went and won and I didn't put him up as the main selection then in here. When you just think to yourself, yeah, well, obviously, if he goes and wins this, it's a home game for him, really, isn't it? His favourite course and distance, winning this race last year from the reopposing L'Homme Presse in second, and a well-beaten second as well, because he probably prefers to go left-handed, as he showed that day as well. Second in the race the year prior, but that was behind Shishkin, so Fez. And last time out, won again over his favourite track and trip, Making All, following a wind-up to win the Grade 2 1965 chase after again Making All, winning nicely. He's fresh, been aimed at this. Second start after a wind operation. Yeah. So he has as much chance as anyone.
He would have been due to a run, I think, in the Silviniaco Conti chase at Kempton, but that meeting was abandoned, wasn't it, at the start of the season? Because remember, our first 2 shows were... it was weekend non-runners for about 2 weeks in a row, so...
It was, wasn't it?
It's not like he's had a bit of an issue and he's been off for a long time, so that's probably something to bear in mind, because people might look at him and say, oh, he hasn't run in a while, has he had an issue or whatever, but I don't think he has.
Good point, well made. Yeah, it's Sam, it is just a mental race. I can't wait for it.
It is, and the last time we all agreed was L'Homme Presse, and he won. And this time,
we're abandoning him.
And we're all going to agree again, because I really like Pic D'Orhy, and I think you can talk about these 2 horses and their Gold Cup aspirations, but for me, this is Pic D'Orhy's Gold Cup.
Yeah.
I won't wheel out the stat about Johnny De La Gea runners at Ascot showing a profit, but I'll give it a mention anyway, because I do.
I'm not going to roll it out, but I'm rolling it out.
You would have disappointed us if you had it, to be fair.
But I do think this is his Gold Cup effectively. He's so effective at the track. Harry Cobham's going to be able to utilise his speed on the front end, and when you've got those 2, it depends what connections and really feel, doesn't it? Because if they want to go and win a Gold Cup, do they want to get into a war here? What are we, 3.5 weeks out? I don't think they do, and I think it's really admirable that L'Homme Presse is turning up here, given he ran obviously not that long ago. It would have been very easy to go straight to the festival, but they obviously feel he's in good heart. So the market will be integral here, won't it? And obviously with Paul Nicholls perhaps not firing on all cylinders recently or being as sort of dominant as we'd expect, we might even get a bit bigger.
Yeah.
And that won't put me off. I won't be too deterred by that. I think it'll be more potentially that people see the Corbetts Cross angle and assume that 5-2 they want to go a little bit, they want to take that and he'll end up a bit shorter. So you wouldn't be shocked if that order changes a little bit. But for me, I thought Pic D'Orhy was the bet I wanted to be on. You both added to why we should be backing him. So yeah, 7-4, I'd be taking it.
Oh God, all three of us agreeing then about a race I don't have a clue.
Don't grimace, the last one won.
Yeah.
I know, our strike rate is above 50% now again, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks to L'Homme Presse. Again, no room for sentiment whatsoever. Off this time around. Oh God, for
Thanks
Pic
for the
D'Orhy.
cheese, but we're bouncing to Pic D'Orhy here.
Exactly, so all three of us then in agreement about Pic D'Orhy. Do let us know who you fancy for that fascinating contest. Right, time for the three of us to head over to the sofa to give you our Cheltenham ante-post plays as well as our best bets for the weekend. Right, it's the second week now of our Cheltenham ante-post plays. So Sam, again, we've got the boost in.
We have. Just to recap, last week's is still on site as well, and the most popular last week was Declan Rix.
Deco again.
Yeah.
To be fair, that price was outrageous. It was a very good boost.
It was a very good boost.
Very, very good boost.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing to do with me, just value in it.
Yes, something like that. Yep, so we've got 3 more for the guys this week that are watching at home. So hopefully people can get involved. Use the QR code, use the link if you're watching on YouTube. Shall I kick us off, Kate?
You shall.
Right, okay. I wanted to try and go for a slightly bigger price. I feel like I'm going to slip into that awful position of just keep putting favourites up. So I went and looked at a race that I thought was interesting. The Albert Bartlett, usually traditionally quite an open race. Gordon Elliott's horse is heading the betting and certainly warrants respect. But the Big Western has kind of got a profile of the profile of old for the Albert Bartlett was always you wanted something with 100 runs and, you know, battle hardened. Yeah. Well, I think that's slowly but surely been changing in recent years. And I thought the Big Westerner, she's a really interesting horse for Henry de Bromhead. I saw her debut for him at Punchestown, and that was a nice win. The second's come out and won since. I didn't think the form of the race was particularly strong, but then Limerick over Christmas was the one run that's really, really stuck in my mind. And that was a Grade 2 race. You've got the likes of Mozzie's Sister, who ran so admirably at the Dublin Racing Festival, finishing behind what is now the Turner's favourite when third. Minella Sexo was in there as well. Looks like a really good yardstick for Gordon Elliott. I thought it was really interesting. Henry's gone and kept the horse fresh. Very, very sort of keen to make sure she gets that break into her. She'll obviously get the sex allowance as well, which I think will be helpful. And I thought we've got a nice boost there at 17-2. And I know people might say, well, Henry's been a bit quiet. Well, this horse hasn't been running, so I'm not particularly worried. And I do think he is a master of those big spring festivals, really hitting the target. He's sort of honed his craft on that in the last few years. So the Big Westerner for me.
He had a winner last week as well, didn't he, Henry?
Yeah, I'm not that worried, to be perfectly honest. She's been sat there at home. She's probably been away for a couple of schooling efforts, schooling races and things. But 17-2 for me, I thought was a nice boost. And yeah, we'll get to the Friday and we need to find a bit of juice, won't we?
Yeah, that is a nice boost as well. 6-1 to 17-2 for the boost there. And this is a mare that you've mentioned a few times as well, the Big Westerner. You do really like her, don't you?
I put her up at Christmas and she won. And
yeah.
I just think there's something about her that I just am a big fan of. And I think she can make her mark. I think she's definitely going to be one for fences one day.
And how often do we say it about Henry de Bromhead and the form of the yard, where like, oh, not going into Cheltenham into the best form, and they absolutely skyrocket, as you say, at the big spring festivals as well. So, it's kind of a law unto its own, really, that yard in that sense. So, nice boost then for Sam Deck.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to keep the Valentine's theme by also putting up a mare in Dino's Blue in the Mare's Chase. Look, I found it a little bit hard already this week because we've got some heavy favourites already at the festival and it's hard to kind of steer away from them, but she bounced back to form last time out, beating Allegor de Vassy, giving her £6, and I thought she ran a cracker in the race last year because the weather just plainly went against her. Not that she doesn't handle very soft ground or goes in heavy, but she was stepping up and tripping. It just put more emphasis on stamina, didn't it? Especially under a penalty, and I thought she ran really well. If she gets a little bit of luck and gets on some kind of spring ground or even kind of good to soft ground, it's going to put more emphasis on speed, and that's really going to suit her. Like I said, she bounced back to form last time out, always had a great attitude. She puts her head down and she runs for you. And yeah, you look, Willie Mullins at the Cheltenham Festival, it seems to kind of work, doesn't it? So she'll have to carry a penalty again this year, but I think she can do it. So we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes off a little bit shorter on the day.
Yeah, 9-4 to 14-5.
There we go. The South African trader is back.
I can reveal that Chris Paul, of the 3 boosts this week, this was one he groaned at and said, I'm in full agreement. So there you go. So you're not alone, Deck. Feels
there
like
we go.
And maybe our guy's trying to keep the horse.
Not alone on Valentine's. Lovely.
Oh, you and Chris Paul. Valentine's for you.
What a combo.
What a way to celebrate it. Back to more important things though. Dino Blue. You know that she's the apple of my eye.
You were riding her for Willie?
As if I haven't mentioned it 1,000 times. Thanks for making it, seem like I haven't. But yeah, that was 2 years ago when she got beat in the Grand Annual. So yeah, to be fair, I didn't ride her last year and she got beat in the Mare's Chase. So, there you go. But hopefully see her again this year. I think the absolute world of her. So really hoping that she goes well and sees out the trip this year, more importantly as well. But the horse who I'm really hoping is going to see out his trip, I'm going to go for a gelding. Ballyburn. Originality is my favourite.
Go on, the Bally.
So Ballyburn in the Brown Advisory. It's mainly to get the boost, to be honest. 7-4 to 9-4 then. And he's going to go for the Brown Advisory, isn't he? He's not exactly. There's no 2.5 mile Turner's novices chase.
He's still in the Arkle, Kate. Stranger things have happened.
I know. With Gino
really
coming out now.
It would be really
If Marlborough comes out as well, man, I'm just roll on the Lincoln. I'm sorry to the viewers at home, but roll on the Lincoln.
Yeah, exactly that. Like I say, the Arkle has been thrown into the mix a little bit, but when they've got Marlborough, he's going to go, after what he did at Kempton, he's going to go up in trip, isn't he? He was so much more comfortable last time out at Leopardstown. And the way that suggested to me he's going to have no problem with 3 miles is the way that he surged from the last fence to the line, where you thought, oh, is he a bit in trouble here? He's been fairly keen throughout, such is his want. But then all of a sudden he just kicked in to another gear again there, and he won far more comfortably than it even looked likely over the last. So yeah, I think he'll have no problem.
And his pedigree is chock full of stamina. I think he might have had a full brother who even ran in the Grand National. Sorry to kind of butt into your selection, but I love a bit of Bally as well, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And again, it was mainly for the boost, to be honest.
I mean,
we're doing the Lord's work here for the viewers at home. I hope they're satisfied.
Gift to everybody. These will only stay up for as long as we can keep them up, so go and get involved. Don't hang around.
On the Valentine's front. 9-4 then, about Ballyburn there. I thought that was a solid way just to try and utilise this section of the show. Again, do let us know your selections at this point for the Cheltenham Festival, and do make sure then to head to the website or scan the QR code to take advantage of those boosts. Right, far more immediate matters though this weekend and our best bets. Deck, take it away.
Yeah, after all that chat now, I've nearly forgotten about this week. The nap this week is going to be Moon Rocket running up at Haydock for the Kim Bailey and Matt Nichols team. I think the inside track there at Haydock with the left rail is really going to suit this guy, because everything about him just likes to lean a little bit left, and we saw that at Donny last time out after he jumped the final hurdle. He maybe half hung away his chance, kind of giving away ground late on, but he'll have a rail to run against at Haydock, which will definitely suit him. And I was pleasantly surprised how well he handled the good ground at Donny. I think I was just worried in terms of experience about him going into the race, because I think he'd won on quite soft ground the time before. You know, sometimes horses can just, everything's happening a bit too quick and they're all over the place, but it wasn't with him, and I think that form is good, so he will do for me. The next best is going to be Pic D'Orhy, who we've already discussed. I just think the ground is coming right for him. You know, L'Homme Presse probably wants it really softer over this trip, and definitely the case for Corbetts Cross. If the Nichols team were in red hot form at the moment, he'd be a really strong bet for me at that kind of price, so he will do for me as the next bet. And then the long shot, we're also going to go to Ascot. It's going to be Jour de Vassion for the Henry Daly team. Now, this fella beat Santos Blue last time out around Hereford, and he's come out on one since, so that form has given a bit of a boost. He is a front runner. There is a horse of the Tizzards in there who likes to go forward as well. Just hope he doesn't spoil his chance. But he jumps well, he goes well on the ground, and his form's been given a boost, so he will do for me with BetVictor playing 4 places. Mucho gracias.
There you go, and doing the company work as well then. So nicely done, Deck. You're ticking every single box there, very much so. Sam?
Yes, and Deck, who's sponsoring the Ascot microsite this week?
The Ascot microsite at theraces.com is actually sponsored by BetVictor.
There we go.
Nicely done. There you go. Right, nice bit of synergy between you.
Yeah. You're getting on today. Must be loving the air.
There it must be.
The Kingwell Hurdle. My nap's going to come there because I thought Burdett Road looks like it's got an absolutely outstanding chance of picking up a good win in decent company. Not the biggest field. Golden Ace, who I've fallen out of love with, I think it's fair to say. I think she's going to get beat here. I thought that effort behind Constitution Hill in December was really good. Obviously, the horse given a little bit of a break because it was busy on the flat. Let's not forget, obviously, a high-class flat horse. Around even money, I thought was a very fair price. We'll move on to my next best, where we're going to go up to Haydock, and it wouldn't be a BetVictor-related weekend winners show, would it, without BetVictor ambassador Jamie Snowden, Gavin Sheen getting mentioned. There we go. They've had a great week. Hollywood Char Grove, she was really good at Sandown. But Marche d'Allier is in the Victor Ladorum, which is only the 5 runners, which is a little bit of a disappointing turnout. But last seen at Chepstow, I say seen, was absolutely in the fog, chasing home that wonderful French horse whose name escapes me, that's gone off to be a stallion.
Nietzsche has.
Well remembered, who was rated absolutely insanely high. And the horse wasn't far behind, based on the win at Wetherby as well. They definitely really like this horse. Maybe one for the Fred Rinter rather than the Triumph, but I definitely think is a really, really nice prospect. And then my final tip is my long shot, of course. We're going to go with Move It Like Mini in the hurdle race at Ascot. Now, Finn Lambert takes 3 off, which is handy. And if you look at the form tying in with Outerbelly, who I think was the favourite last time I checked, I just felt the price was absolutely massive as an each-way play. And, you know, she'll love the ground as well, which is going to be so key. I know we say it a lot, and Deck and me have probably bored people at home by saying how quick we think the ground will be at Ascot, but it's been drying most of the week. I think it's going to be absolutely key for this horse's chances, and Twiston Davis' team hopefully can have a big winner there.
Yeah, tricky.
Would you believe that was the other horse I was going to put up as my long shot?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're both in the same race. I just came down on the Henry Daly horse because Minnie looked like he latched on a bit last time out with Sam, but if he settles a bit better, he will absolutely go close.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there you go. Sam's covered it then for you, but it's a fascinating race that Outerbelly just continues to play havoc with me and my betting as well then. But yeah, wishing you both all the best then for those. I'm going a bit rogue with my nap this weekend. It's similar to last week where I don't really have a nap as such. It's more a best bet because I found it really tricky to nail down that absolute nap as such. But it's going to be Nemean Lion then for me. I'm switching on up to Haydock at 11-2. I just thought that was too big a price in a race that has so many question marks in it. The Grade 2 Rendlesham with horses over the trip going this way around and the ground as well. But Nemean Lion, he does have a question mark over the trip. That is very fair to say. And he's by Golden Horn, so he's from the first crop of his. So we don't really know exactly how well they stay yet. We haven't got a big enough sample size. He's an 8-year-old to really see how well they stay. But he's won his last 2 and he has been staying on nicely. But I thought that the quicker ground, if we do get that up at Haydock, and if it turns into a bit of a speed test, then the likes of Botox has and Beauport in there as well, they may just be caught a bit flat-footed by a quicker horse. So Nemean Lion then was going to be the one for me. Then Val Dancer in the Grand National Trial, the Welsh National winner, is going to be the next best for me at 5-1. And again, he's another one who's bidding for a hat-trick as well. Stays all day. Jumps well. He is running from £6 out of the handicap because Royal Pagaille is pushing a whole load of these out. I think there's only 4 horses actually in the handicap as well. So not ideal, but we do see horses time and time again defying that and winning from out of the handicap. When you've got a horse that's in form over a proper stamina-laden trip, then you just need to run them. So hopefully he's had a freshen up from the Welsh National of 50 days, enough time for him to be able to go in again then here. And then the long shot is going to be 3 Under Through 5, who, of course, we mentioned earlier on at 11-1. Back over this course in distance, top weight again. Fresh, seemingly teed up perfectly then for this contest, running just from £1 higher than this race last year. And that was only 3 runs ago as well. So I'm hoping for more from 3 Under Through 5 there at 11-1. Right,
Always said you had great taste, Kate.
Exactly, that's it. There's a lot of agreement, isn't there, this week as well between the 3 of us. So good to know, though, all the same.
The blind leading the blind, I think is the phrase.
Probably, yeah, more to the point, to be fair. But lads, thank you so much for a pair of you for all of your hard work. That is us done then for now. So thank you so much at home for watching. Best of luck with your bets this weekend, and we'll be back at the same time next Friday to preview the pick of the weekend action.